Staff Sergeant Young of the United States Army, 44th IBCT, currently stationed in Camp Bondsteel, Kosovo.
Please rise and remove your caps as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem.
Hi, welcome to Warrior Canine Connections 2020 graduation. I'm Rick Yount, founder and executive director of WCC. And although this is our 8th annual graduation, it is our very first virtual graduation. The pandemic has changed how many of us do different things, and we certainly wish we could be here in person. We're so excited to celebrate the successes of our veteran service dog placements this year and to just thank and celebrate all of the efforts that have gone into making these placements possible. We've had so many of our veterans and warrior trainers, military families, our volunteers, our staff, and just the whole WCC family that's come together to make this magic happen. You know, COVID has really caused a need for WCC to become more nimble in how we approach things. We know that the additional isolation that the pandemic is adding to the stresses for our veterans and for their families and for everyone, that additional stress has really made our work even more important. And we've been working hard to figure out how we can deliver this healing power of our amazing dogs and our programming to those veterans to help ease some of the additional stress that we're all facing. WCC has created additional virtual online programming to bring our mission-based trauma recovery model and our new Unleashed program, where we work with veterans who have pet dogs and use our training techniques and share our methods to help build their connections with their dogs and make their relationships more meaningful. And we know that with the bad sometimes comes good, and Warrior Canine Connection has been able to find some silver linings in these COVID clouds. For instance, our virtual online community has really been built through this pandemic, as our puppy cam has been a source of so much healing and comfort for so many that are contacting us. For example, ICU nurses out in Seattle reached out to let us know that as they were fighting COVID in the ICU, that they were having our puppy cam playing in their break room. And they would go in and watch the puppies and find so much solace and comfort and stress reduction through that. And we've had school teachers reach out, and they're bringing in puppy cam into their virtual classrooms to help the kids de-stress. Because we're all really in this together, and it's really become even more important, the work that WCC does. And in addition to maintaining all of these very important relationships that helps WCC accomplish our mission, along with our EPWs like you, We've also added additional partnerships such as the Wounded Warrior Project and the VA's Prevents program to end veteran suicide. I'd also like to give a shout out and say thank you to our amazing board of directors and our advisory board. You provide such important guidance and support and oversight and really have helped shape WCC to become the organization it is today. I would like to give a heartfelt congratulations to our 2020 veteran graduates who you'll be seeing here very soon. I want to thank you all for joining us today, and I want you to remember, be positive, yet stay negative. Warrior Canine Connections Wag of the Tail Award, first awarded in 2013, is given out to individuals and organizations that go above and beyond in their support of WCC's no-fail mission. It's my honor to introduce you to this year's awardees. Take a look.
Our first recipient of the Wag of the Tail Award is Dr. Joellen Gregory. Dr. Gregory is 100% dedicated to the care and welfare of animals and our nation's veterans. We have had the honor of working with her since 2011. Since that time, Dr. Gregory has provided countless hours of care to our puppies and dogs. She is passionate about ensuring all animals receive the best care possible. In fact, she has not only provided care to all of our dogs, she has also been very involved in helping our organization with breeding best practices, setting policies and procedures for all aspects of our dogs' care, and she also takes time out of her busy schedule to meet with our puppy parents and provide them guidance on any of their needs. She is the consummate veterinarian. Thank you and congratulations, Dr. Gregory. Our second Wag of the Tail Award goes to Alan Whitwell. Alan came to WCC by way of the puppy camp back in the Brookville days. He's been an active supporter on WCC's social media fundraising campaigns for years. Whether it is a fundraising competition on CrowdRise or an item needed on WCC's wish list, Alan is always generous and jumps in with a donation to put the organization ahead of our goal. A Navy veteran himself, Alan worked in aviation while he was on active duty. He served from 1957 to 1961, the first year of the Vietnam War, and he was stationed to aircraft carrier Franklin Roosevelt in the Mediterranean. When asked why he supports WCC, Alan said, "I feel so bad for some of the veterans coming back, and I want to do what we can to help them." And of course, like so many others, he also said, "Well, at first I came for the puppies, but I stayed for the mission." Congratulations, Alan. We are honored to present you with this Wag of the Tail Award. The final Wag of the Tail Award goes to our partner, Boehringer Ingelheim, the makers of HeartGuard and NextGuard. Boehringer Ingelheim has partnered with Warrior Canine Connection since 2017, helping to share information about our work across the country. This partnership has extended to Boehringer Ingelheim's nationwide veterinary clinic campaigns, national veterinary conferences, and social media campaigns. Along with Boehringer Ingelheim's charitable foundation, the company has provided $450,000 in support to fuel Warrior Canine Connection's no-fail mission. Thank you, Boehringer Ingelheim, for your continued partnership, support, and for all you do to improve the health and lives of people and animals. Congratulations to all three of our Wag of the Tail Award recipients. Now we would like to introduce today's keynote speaker, Spencer Milo. A U.S. Army combat veteran and Purple Heart recipient, Spencer works for the Marcus Institute for Brain Health in Aurora, Colorado, providing support to service members and veterans with visible and hidden wounds of war. He is a passionate advocate and spokesman for veterans and veterans issues. Spencer has a personal connection to WCC, and we are honored to have him share his story with us today.
Morning, everybody. My name's Spencer Milo. I'm your keynote speaker for the day, and this is WCC's Joseph, and he is my best friend. I'm very excited to be able to talk with you all this morning, and as much as I wish I was there in person with you, I'm still humbled and honored to be able to at least share my story with you today, give you a little bit of background as to how I came to be a part of WCC and how much it's impacted myself and my family's lives. So I joined the Army in 2006 as an airborne infantryman. And like a lot of folks that joined during the surge, about 6-7 months after I joined, I was over in Iraq. Well, that's where I got my first injury. We were about 4 months into a 16-month tour. Bottom line, let's just say that I decided to, while sitting up in the turret, while driving down route predators, to hit my head on everything I could. Got quite the concussion, took some other injuries. Bottom line is the next day that I was out and going back on missions. 16 months went by, and come back, go through the typical testing that we all go through when we get back from deployments, and come to find out that I had gotten a little bit more hurt than I thought. I was actually given a 6-month terminal diagnosis and told that 6 months to live due to a brain injury. Well, heaven heard some calls, and bottom line is I'm here still to this day. It was a misdiagnosis. Yes, I have a tumor. Yes, there's some issues. However, I wasn't going to die. So what did I do? Strapped my boots back on, got deployed again about 4 months later, and I was in Afghanistan. About 9 months into that tour in January of 2011, a day that changed my life forever. A child suicide bomber detonated himself, 10 feet from me in my platoon, and took some shrapnel, took a big blow to the head, hurt myself, thankfully, still with us, but ended up getting medevaced home ultimately. This is the point in the story where WCC truly changed my life. Having to go through a second injury and all of the different kinds of things that come with it, the depression, the anxiety, the anger, the physical pain, emotional pain, all of those things, I finally got sent to Walter Reed to a place called the National Intrepid Center of Excellence. That's where I met WCC. I found out that there was a program there working with dogs, which was, canine therapy. To me, that was foreign. I had never heard of it, but all I knew was that I love dogs, and that was all I wanted to do was go see those dogs. That's where I met my first service dog, Nemo. He's a chocolate lab and truly saved my life. Sadly, Nemo passed away last October, and apologize. That was a really, really tough time, but thankfully I had WCC's Joseph right here, who was able to kind of help, carry the torch. Nemo and Joseph got to know each other really well, and I could tell that Nemo felt comfortable having Joseph take over. So, since I met those folks at WCC in 2011, I've done everything in my power to try to help them out. I went on a Discovery Channel, Animal Planet type of a video with them. I've spoken as often as I can. I try to inform people how important the human-animal bond is. And I know that I don't need to explain that to you all, because I know you know how powerful that is and how true of a treatment that can be. Well, let's fast forward to now. I'm currently sitting on as an acting member on the board of directors for Warrior Canine Connection, and I could not be any more humbled and honored to do that. Every single one of you is about to have a massive impact on your life happen in a positive way. I can tell you, I haven't worked with all of the dogs that you have, but I can tell you I did get to personally work with Eli, and I did get to personally work with Sully. I actually flew first class out from WCC headquarters out to Colorado to where I work at the Marcus Institute for Brain Health, where WCC is a partner. And I will tell you what, for whoever's getting paired with Sully, I apologize, but he's probably used to traveling in style, so better get on that. But bottom line, I just want to say thank you for everyone's support of Warrior Canine Connection. I want to thank all of your four-legged companions for everything they do for you. And I want you to know that you're never going to be alone. I promise you that. No matter what happens in your life, WCC, myself, Joseph, your families, your friends, we're all going to be here for you. Congratulations.
Now it's the time you've all been waiting for to recognize the 2020 Warrior Canine Connection Service Dog Teams. Our first veteran service dog team is U.S. Navy MC2 Andrew Carlson, who goes by Carl, and service dog Melly.
It just is a kind of a unique thing to be paired with a service dog through Warrior Canine Connection. It gives me a reason to get up in the morning some mornings, and she kind of keeps me mellow. When I'm having like a stressful day or a stressful moment at work, she can kind of try to relax me and like distract me from the moment. So it's been a really positive thing. Our bond kind of continues to grow the longer that I have her and the longer that she is in my life. It was an instant connection with the girls that I have and my wife. They really love Melly, and the more that they have her, the more they feel like it's her dog, or one of their dogs. So it's really been a really great thing to kind of see everybody kind of come together and gel as a family.
Melly is named for U.S. Army First Lieutenant Melissa Stockwell, a Purple Heart recipient and two-time U.S. Paralympian who was the first U.S. woman to lose a limb in the Iraqi conflict.
It really does hold a lot of meaning to me that my dog is named after a veteran. Melissa Stockwell is a really inspiring story. She kind of humbles me every time I think about her, and to know that Melly kind of carries that name on and that lineage really is it's just humbling. It's really cool to know that she's named after her.
Passing Melly's virtual leash is three-time puppy parent Lisa Mix. Lisa has been volunteering with Warrior Canine Connection since 2017 and is a valuable volunteer who is happy to help with anything asked of her. She has been instrumental in Melly's growth and training progress.
There's nothing like a wet nose on your leg to kind of remind you that like the world isn't going to end at that very moment.
Up next is Army Staff Sergeant Danny Farrar and service dog Eli.
For me, the thing that I'm most looking forward to having Eli in my life is it gives me an opportunity, given what I do for a living, between Soldier Fit and between Platoon 22 and the Veteran Services Center that we're building, is I hope that other veterans can see that having a service dog doesn't mean that you're weak, it doesn't mean that you are damaged goods, or that there's any type of negative connotation that comes with having one.
Eli is named for U.S. Marine Corps Corporal Mariner Elijah Fleming, who came from a family steeped in military tradition.
I've actually had a chance to talk to the family, and from what they've told me of Eli, he's the type of guy I want to aspire to be to. And so to see that not only do you have the service dog that is named after a veteran, but to see that there's actually a lot of similarities between you and that veteran makes it a lot more sentimental and special.
Eli's puppy parents are Tammy and Bill Crozier. Both Tammy and Bill have been highly involved in Eli's training process and are remarkably committed to Warrior Canine Connection's program. In fact, they loved Eli so much, they now have Buff, their second Warrior Canine Connection service dog in training.
There's just this relationship with humans and dogs that I think, transcends any other animal pairing that's out there. And they get the joy of being around you. I'm not sure any other animal really gets that same amount of joy. And you also get the joy that comes from being around them. It's not weak to admit that you need help. It's one of the biggest and best signs of strength that you can demonstrate. And for me, what made me do it was this desire to still be there for other people, to be there for my family, to be there for my wife, to be there for my girls. You have other people in your life that want you to be there for them as well too, and I want you to be there for them.
Our next veteran service dog team is Army Colonel Ken Nance and service dog Sully.
Always in the military, any branch, and in my case, with the Army, we are trained for and we own the philosophy of suck it up and move on and continue forward, and a mission first mindset, and I have that, and I've always had that. So when I first considered a service dog for me, I was initially like, no. Someone else needs that service dog. I understand where it comes from, the concept, but I was not thinking that a service dog would be most appropriate for me.
Sully came to Warrior Canine Connection through its partner program, Susquehanna Service Dogs. Already named when Warrior Canine Connection received him, Sully's namesake is retired Air Force fighter pilot and airline captain Chelsea Burnett Sully Sullenberger III. Sully is a popular pup who had two puppy parents help raise him. Puppy parent Stephanie Sachs helped train him first in Maryland. Then Sully was deployed to the Marcus Institute for Brain Health in Colorado, and that's where Jennifer Trong grabbed the reins and helped continue his training.
Spent a lot of time at NICO at Walter Reed. And so I have gotten the best health care that you could possibly get. But I have seen to this moment that there is a connection that he is beginning to feel and able to stabilize some things within me that none of the therapies have been able to do. I think that whole thing just really ties back into how could a service dog assist me? You know, my initial thought was, no, I mean, somebody else can benefit from that, but not from me, not for me. And I can already see that I was incredibly wrong, that I need to be open to things that are available and consider it, and then trust the process.
Our next duo is Air Force Sergeant Diane Smith and service dog Chuck.
The decision to get a service dog really wasn't a difficult one because it was something that just kind of flashed through my mind. I was talking to one of my doctors and their eyes just lit up. That would be perfect for you. That's exactly what you need. Warrior Canine Connection was willing to place a dog with a veteran from the Desert Storm era, which is what I am. There were a lot of nerves leading up to this week, all the anticipation and excitement that had to do with something of this magnitude. The day that I met him here, when we came for training, I can't put into words. I started crying just thinking about it. I am so blessed, and it was so exciting to see him again. I'm looking forward to having the opportunity to do things on my own. I'll be doing them with my dog, but I'll be doing them on my own. I don't have to rely on other people anymore. I'm learning that it's okay to let go. It's okay to give the dog the opportunity to do what the dog needs to do, and that in turn gives me the confidence that I need to do the things that I need to do. He chose me. He chose me. Chuck chose me.
Chuck was named after U.S. Air Force Technical Sergeant Charles Highsmith, retired. Tech Sergeant Highsmith, who served in the Vietnam War, retired in 1980 after 20 years of service. He returned from Vietnam with severe PTSD and survivor's guilt. After retiring, he remained highly involved in supporting local veterans groups. Sadly, he passed away in 2010 after a third recurrence of a service-related cancer. Chuck was raised by puppy parent Leslie Shear. Chuck was her first service dog in training, and we're told she loved it so much she has already signed on for another dog. Leslie is so committed to the community, she also runs her own nonprofit, Circle of Hope, a therapeutic equine riding organization here in Maryland. Our next veteran service dog team is Navy Special Warfare Operator retired Scott Tetzloff and service dog Lucky.
Oh wow, it's tremendous. I can't explain the feeling. My emotions are running super strong right now. I feel like I got a new life again. When I saw her come through that door, it was just it was special. I knew exactly she was the one. Tail was wagging, and we just bonded and clicked right away. And ever since then, I think my blood pressure fell about 30 points. And I have two boys, and I love them very much. And this is probably the next best thing in my life that I've ever experienced. But she'll be part of my day-to-day for sure, and daily activities, running, swimming, surfing, anything I can take her on, she'll be there for sure.
Lucky was named for U.S. Army Chief Warrant Officer 3, Doris Lucky Allen. Chief Warrant Officer Allen joined the Women's Army Corps in 1950 and had a 30-year military career. At the age of 40, she volunteered for deployment to Vietnam, where she served until 1970. There, she served as a senior intelligence analyst, where she helped analyze and translate enemy documents. She was the first female graduate of the interrogation of prisoners of war. She was one of only 23 warrant officers in the Army at the time. She was later inducted into the Army Women's Hall of Fame, and she was also the first African American woman elected into the Michigan Hall of Fame. Lucky was raised by puppy parents Janet and George Paskalakis, who have both been a huge support to Warrior Canine Connection. Janet, with her amazing sewing skills, has created some masterpieces, including some custom service dog vests. And George is another one of our volunteers with great cooking and barbecue skills who has been known to feed Warrior Canine Connection staff and volunteers on many an occasion. Our final veteran service dog team graduating today is U.S. Navy Lieutenant Van Williams and service dog Troy.
I remember the night getting the call that there was an opportunity to meet Troy. Didn't know his name at the time, but a dog that might be a service dog match for me. I can't really say I knew what that was going to be like before Troy, but now when we're coming up on a year, it's like something in my life that I would say when my kids were born is, hey, this is an addition to my life. I didn't know what it was going to be like, but I wouldn't give it up for anything. For me as a veteran and having a service dog, I'm not looking for more medication. And I'm not looking to live in a bubble my entire life. And I'm not looking to overwhelm my spouse. Really, I want to be present in my life, and I want to be with my family and taking my role as a husband and father serious. Troy is completely about being present with the kids, and that's something that I love doing with my kids, is just being present. And Troy and I get to do that together. It's something that I missed a lot when my first son was born, and now having Troy, it's a lot easier to stay present in the moment with my kids. And for me, there's this bond, there's this understanding that Troy's present when the good things happen and when the bad things happen.
Troy is named after U.S. Air Force Major Troy L. Gilbert, who was killed in action in 2006 while flying a combat mission in Iraq. His heroic efforts that day are credited with saving the lives of more than 20 soldiers. Throughout his distinguished career, Major Gilbert completed 21 combat sorties, logging over 130 combat flying hours in an F-16 aircraft. He was posthumously awarded the Purple Heart and the Distinguished Flying Cross with Valor.
Knowing that WCC had this built into its core beliefs, that there are veterans who have served and those who have served to the point where they didn't get to come home. Major Troy Gilbert is someone who I've never met, and it would have been amazing to serve alongside.
Troy's puppy parent is Diana Johnson, who, despite recently moving to California, continues to be a huge part of Warrior Canine Connection's work. In fact, in recent weeks, she transported a puppy across the country for us. Diana has been an amazing volunteer who is always ready and willing to help out in any way needed.
We just go through life with a little bit more confidence than I had before.
Warrior Canine Connection also have 2 facility dog teams graduating today. Facility dogs work with their owners in Department of Defense and Veterans Affairs medical treatment facilities, as well as at other partner and community programs to help service members and veterans participate in our mission-based trauma recovery program. Introducing U.S. Marine Corps Corporal Nikki Falzone and facility dog Jackie. Jackie was named after U.S. Navy Lieutenant Jacqueline Melvin, who served 7 years active duty as a Navy flight nurse, helping to evacuate wounded Marines and soldiers from the Battle of Okinawa. Now in her late 90s, Lieutenant Melvin says the Navy was the best career in the world. She met her husband while there. Together, they raised 8 children, 4 of whom have served in uniform.
Jackie and I will be working at the Platoon Veteran Services Center at Goodwill in Frederick. She will be our greeter and facility dog, so she will be interacting with every veteran that comes through the door. She will also be with me when we offer any sort of programming, so our peer support groups, any sort of veteran-specific events. And really, I envision her really breaking the ice. A lot of our veterans are going to come in, they may be reluctant to be getting services or uncomfortable in the situation, and she just has a presence to calm and this ability to connect with everyone that she meets. So being able to welcome them and to do her little wiggle dance and to greet them or identify stress cues, I think will be a very important part of our mission. I think that she is really a very unique dog. She is going to make a great facility dog because she likes to interact and she finds the situations to make people comfortable. So I think that she'll be able to facilitate my role as the director of the Veteran Services Center. I just think that there's a better way that people connect with animals than sometimes they do with people. So she will definitely do that. I'd like to say that she's, my dog, but she's bonded with our kids and our family. But I definitely think that we make a good pair, and she brings out the best in me.
Jackie's puppy parent is Susan Kennedy, who has been a puppy parent many times over. She's been an amazing ambassador for Warrior Canine Connection over the years, helping to recruit puppy parents. She's assisted on the ground at events and does everything with a smile. Susan is said to be a very skilled handler and devoted Warrior Canine Connection volunteer.
We were blessed enough that Jackie's puppy mom was Sue, and she actually stands on the board of Platoon, so we get to see her pretty often, and just it's great because we're able to connect with her. She shares things that that she liked, and it was able to help her really get into our family and feel comfortable, down to like the brush or when she groomed her, different ways like that. And then we spent her second birthday together, and she presented her this beautiful vest in honor of her namesake, Jackie.
Our second facility dog due is Army Captain Ryan Holland and facility dog Pointer. Pointer was named for U.S. Army Warrant Officer 1 Vernon Cable Pointer Sr. The evening before Warrant Officer Pointer's unit was due to ship out overseas, he was diagnosed with pulmonary tuberculosis. He spent the next several years in Veterans Affairs hospitals, forcing his early retirement from service. Following retirement, he went back to school and became a mathematician and an early computer scientist, where he spent 27 years supporting his country.
WCC Pointer and I will support the Marcus Institute at the University of Colorado School of Medicine, located at the Anschutz Medical Campus in Aurora, Colorado. The Marcus Institute provides specialty care for those veterans suffering from mild to moderate TBI. Pointer will continue to serve in his support role as a facility dog, offering support to those veterans who come to seek care at the Marcus Institute from locations around the world.
Pointer's leash is passed by puppy parents Christy Vu, who helped with Pointer's training in Maryland. Ryan Holland, who now owns Pointer, also trained him for a good portion of time in Denver before being paired with him. We would also like to recognize our final group of dogs graduating today, the breeder dogs. These dogs provide the foundation for Warrior Canine Connection's programs, helping to produce healthy, adorable puppies and ensure the organization's continued growth. Up first is breeder dog JJ. JJ was named after Army Private First Class Jesse Jack Martinez, who was killed in Iraq in 2004 while on his way to a mission when his vehicle rolled over after the driver tried to avoid a gas tanker coming toward them. JJ's puppy parents are Susan and Paul Colsey, who have been volunteers with Warrior Canine Connection for several years, helping out with events, dogs, and programs. Susan is also an artist who creates jewelry, which she sells and has donated a portion of its proceeds to Warrior Canine Connection. Paul is also known to fill the bellies of Warrior Canine Connection staff and volunteers with his delicious cooking on many the occasion over the years. We would also like to acknowledge breeder dog Patty, who is named for U.S. Army Colonel Patricia Solomina Collins, retired. Colonel Collins served as a communications officer from 1991 to 2015. In 2006, after her deployment in Iraq, she was struck by a car while riding her bike to work at Fort Bragg. The injury resulted in the loss of her left leg below the knee. She rehabbed and returned to full military fitness and went on to become the first female amputee to continue active duty service post-amputation. After her retirement, she represented the United States at the 2016 Paralympic Games in Rio de Janeiro in the sport of triathlon. Patty's puppy parents are Jane and Pat Hipsley, whose names you may recognize. Not only are they 7-time puppy parents who are currently raising 3 dogs at the same time, but a Warrior Canine Connection service dog, Hipsley, who graduated in 2018, was named in remembrance of their son, Army Sergeant Christian Hipsley. Next is breeder dog Sandrino. Sandrino was named for U.S. Army Sergeant Alessandro Sandrino Plutino. Sergeant Plutino had completed 3 deployments in Iraq, 2 in Afghanistan, and was planning to separate from the Army when he was dispatched on a special assignment in 2011. It was during that assignment in Afghanistan that Sergeant Plutino was killed by enemy fire while leading his fellow Rangers in an assault. His platoon members have referred to him as a hero for his leadership and said his actions saved several of his fellow Rangers' lives. Sandrino has had several puppy parents who were instrumental in his care and development. They include Linda Wang, Ann Spader, and Warrior Canine Connection's own Donna and Kim Vaughn. The next breeder dog is Troy, who served as a short-term stud dog and sired several litters before he was neutered and then moved on for training to become a service dog. His puppy parent is Diana Johnson. Our final breeder dog is Carol, who is named for U.S. Army 2nd Lieutenant Carol Ann Drosba. Carol is named in memory of 2nd Lieutenant Drosba, who joined the Army Nurses Corps in 1965. Originally stationed in Arizona, she volunteered to go to Vietnam, where she could better serve those fighting overseas. Just a year later, at the young age of 22, she was killed in a helicopter crash near Saigon. 46 years after her death, 2nd Lieutenant Drosba was honored by her community with a statue that stands just steps away from where she learned nursing at Scranton State General Hospital. Carol's puppy parent is Jojo Terrestri. Jojo is currently raising service dog in training, Purple. Congratulations to the Warrior Canine Connection Class of 2020. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you would like to learn more about Warrior Canine Connection, please visit our website at warriorcanineconnection.org.